If you're after a cheap and cheerful box on wheels with a petrol engine, the Mitsubishi ASX is one of the most tried and trusted SUVs still on sale. In fact, it's been on sale for about 14 years. And yet it's still one of the most popular small SUVs you can buy. There's nothing really special about it. It's got air conditioning, power windows, it's easy to drive, but it doesn't do anything that the others don't already do anyway. Very robust though, and it can take a beating. It's even got multi-link rear suspension. That means it's really comfortable, yet it's able to maintain stability even over bumps. It's also very practical, easy to see out of, including the rear windscreen, which is quite large, and the D-pillars are pretty small. And you've got a decent amount of room as well, including in the back. The headroom is particularly impressive for this class. Although it doesn't have some of the clever gadgets of some of the rivals, like a driver monitoring camera, if you just pay attention and do the driving yourself, you'll be fine. It does come with automatic wipers and headlights though, and a manual handbrake so you can get it into tight spots. It's a pretty small SUV, so yeah, easy to park, easy to drive in the city. And the engine isn't very complicated, so you don't need to worry about turbo lag or anything like that. The performance isn't all that impressive, but for this style of vehicle, you can't expect much more. Fuel economy, I'm averaging about 10.9 litres per 100 kilometres, but that's with pretty vigorous driving. Compared with a turbo engine, this can sound a little bit harsh, especially when it's revving right out. And the CVT transmission isn't very engaging, but it does help with fuel economy. Overall, I can see why so many people buy this, because it is just so practical, so easy to use, especially in today's world where a lot of vehicles are becoming increasingly difficult and complex. It's even got good off-road capability, over 200 millimeters of ground clearance. It's just a little bit unfortunate there is no four-wheel drive option in Australia at the moment.
In all seriousness though, I think there's a good reason why the ASX is popular and still popular today, because it is just so practical, it's affordable, it looks decent too, especially in this street edition trim with black highlights and racing stripes. But yeah, having multi-link rear suspension is pretty unique in this vehicle segment. Most small SUVs just use a torsion beam, especially those that are available with front-wheel drive only. The Street Edition also comes with these black alloy wheels and even disc brakes on the back. Inside, it is pretty basic and definitely showing its age. I actually don't mind this layout though. It's so easy to drive, it's nothing complicated about it. And you know, when you're driving modern vehicles, you just get overwhelmed with information and controls and all that sort of thing, whereas this is just back to basics motoring and it's refreshing. To turn the air conditioning on, you push the big air conditioning button. It's as simple as that. There's plenty of storage around too, including a center console box, cup holders, and thanks to the upright orientation of the cabin, headroom and legroom is very good for this class, including in the back. There are no climate vents, but I think vehicles this small can kind of get away with it, because the front aircon doesn't have to work hard to fill up the cabin volume. Obviously, it would be nice to have vents in the back for those hot Aussie summer days. It'd also be nice to have bottle holders in the doors. In the back, you've got 393 litres of boot space, which is pretty good for this class, and it extends to just under 1200 litres when you flip down the rear seats. They fold flat, but there is a small step going over into the rear seat area. And then under the floor, in this variant at least, there's a space saver spare wheel. And then under the bonnet, we've got a no-fuss 2-litre 4-cylinder engine. 110 kilowatts, 197 newton meters. It's tried and trusted. They've been using this engine for quite a long time, so you know it's going to be very reliable. As I mentioned, the CVT is probably the only letdown in terms of driving engagement. If it came with a 6-speed automatic, it'll just get rid of that annoying whine as it builds up speed. Speaking of which, let's head out now to the private road and do some performance testing to see what it goes like.